If you want to see more of this, check us out. Every day, turn us our podcast where we do weird stuff like that, and sometimes we also talk about Legacy, as we are supposed to do now. We got under Azpeitia on Shadow against Mario Blanco on. This is perfect.
Damn.
Mario Blanco on Mono Black.
Perfect name for the perfect deck.
Let's go. Let's go.
So yeah, everyone, this is the last round of the Swiss. Whoever wins this game is gonna be probably 100% sure in the top 8. We saw a Naya Depths deck earlier, which was 6-0, which probably double ID'd in the top 8, and we saw a Jeskai Stoneblade deck last round, which might also be able to ID into the top 8. So we have two very fair decks in the top 8, and let's see if we can push either a mono black deck or a shadow deck also as the third deck in the top 8. So the mono black deck got a lot of attention and a lot of hype also, like in the last couple of weeks and months, and it is basically a deck that just boosts out a lot of overpowered black creatures such as Sheoldred or Doughty Voidwalker, or the newest inclusion, which is Oakish Bowmaster. Opposition Agent, also not too uncommon. And then it can either win with either regular creature combat damage, or it can also do the Leyline of the Void and Helm of Obedience thing. So a lot of different axes going on. And while the Unde plays Demir Shadow deck, which is kind of he's doing the honest brainstorm ponder thing, Force of Will Days. It's like one of the best tempo, if not the best tempo deck. Your finishers are Murktide Regent and Death Shadow, as we already mentioned. You can play things like Baleful Strix or what is it called?
Or Bowmasters?
Yeah, or Bowmasters obviously, but also something like Grief maybe if you feel like it. There are a few possible options here. I might be interested how many snuff outs we see in both main decks, because snuff outs have close to no text in this matchup. In fact, this might be the end of the era of snuff out. Recently, I have not been impressed by snuff out at all. It just doesn't hit all the relevant creatures.
Yeah,
right?
Which other creatures you really like? I mean, of course, that actually that's the wrong way to go about it. But you're right. We had this kind of resurgence of Snuff Out like a year ago or something. It used to be like a legacy card, then went away, then came back like a year ago, and now there's so much good black stuff, right?
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes people even build Shadow in the way that they completely blank Shadow, that they completely blank Snuff Out. So maybe that's what we're seeing here.
Maybe if you remember, one of the matches yesterday, we had a Demir Ninja deck, and they didn't play a single copy of Snuff Out. In fact, they played the Fatal Push and Cutthroat. No, what's it called?
Oh, Murderous Cut.
Murderous Cut. Yeah. Yeah, good choices. Maybe it's time for Fatal Push again.
Who is this Karn? What do we do for 4 mana? There's only really so many things you can do with this kind of mana. Karn. Oh, Helm.
Ooh,
that works.
It's Helm.
That's also why he took the days, right? He's happy to trade the Helm for a Force if he has to. He'd rather not have it dazed.
So how good is this Helm of Obedience now?
I mean, we are looking for either Leyline of the Void, which we are pretty obviously don't have. I mean, we could have drawn it.
Right.
Or Voidwalker, right? Voidwalker would
allow us to go that's a good one. Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, do I really want to counter this? I bet your deck has much worse stuff. Or better, and from Mario's perspective. I think, honestly, maybe Mario's just running out the Helm because he wants to see how Under reacts to it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mario actually had some actually better cards in hand that he's looking to resolve here very soon. Is that a Proxy Bowmaster? No, it looks like a Helm of Obedience. Oh, you mean in hand? I don't see any Bowmasters in hand right now, but maybe there's one. Yeah, you're right. There actually is one. That's a proxy one. We allow 10 proxies in this tournament. It's just so we can get more people to play the game. I wouldn't be surprised, out of our 175 players, there must be a significant part of players who just showed up because they can get to play with some of the proxies. And I mean, these are not ugly proxies. This is not piece of paper, Emerald, cool, you're done. These are pretty easy to recognize.
Yeah, which makes it easier for us in the in the coverage booth as well.
Yeah, honestly, proxies are actually kind of cool in that regard. The thing that makes it hard for us is if you play like your secret layer from hell or something. It's just like, okay, this is the
Yeah, dude.
17th printing of this card, and we have. I wish it was 17th. It's probably like there's way more for some of them. It's like Sudoku, right? You have to like you get the clues and eventually you have to fill in. Okay, I think it's actually gonna be this number or this card. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but
That's
it
actually
looks like
probably
it.
like harder than the quiz we did a few minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Actually, you know what? We should actually clip that quiz and put it on YouTube separately.
Yeah,
Would
seriously.
love to see that. Okay, here we go. 2 power and play, 1 damage to the face. Mario down to 14. Oh, that army here. You got your army. I don't care.
Yeah, mono black. How do you call this deck? Like mono black.
Not like Helm, I would call
Mono
it.
black helm
Yeah.
is somewhat resilient to Orcish Bowmasters, isn't it? Like
Yeah, the only
it doesn't.
thing
It
you can
doesn't.
sometimes do is like you can try to hit like a Karn out of nowhere. Like let's say the Karn is on 5,
Oh.
goes minus. You play the Bowmaster end of turn, then you kill the Karn right away with the ping and the
Okay.
attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You know.
that's really
Like
the only
Orcish Bowmaster is like rarely a dead card. It's almost never dead.
thing.
Like, but the range of like how effective it is like goes from like
Like
3 to 10, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like from 5 to 10.
yeah, it's pretty insane. Like against Grizzlebrand, you wanna draw
Oh
7
my
cards,
goodness.
yeah, you
Oh
make
my goodness.
14 life for those 7
Oh
cards
my
now.
goodness. And you get an 8/8.
Yeah, on top. Which is
You have
bigger
to
than
chump.
Grizzlebrand.
You have to chump block with your Grizzlebrand. Like,
How does it even make sense, right? Chat is asking for some Stoneblade action at top 8. Most likely, I don't know which decks will feature. We don't know what the top 8 is going to look like. But depending on how deep Stoneblade goes and what the top 8 is going to look like, there's a decent chance that we will see some more Stoneblade action. Murktide is coming down, and Murktide is actually kind of a problem for Mario, right? Like, what do you do about it?
yeah.
Like, ideally, you get like your Voidwalker and your Leyline down first, but once it's in play,
Yeah, it's rough. I would assume that there are a few edict effects, maybe. Something like a sudden edict might be there. But what's really good versus sudden edicts are Orcish Bowmasters. Like, those like little
oh, that's
stinkers.
Voidwalker. Oh, and we had to pitch Voidwalker. Oh, like if he had found like a second black source in his turn, we could have played Voidwalker and activated Helm. But now we're just gonna see that land. Okay, at least that allows us to resolve Karn, and I would bet that's gonna find Ensnaring Bridge. Right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We are almost dead though.
Oh, you're on 9,
Yeah.
yeah.
Under has to like make his choice. He can't fully kill the Khan with the orcs just yet, so he might have to throw the Murktide region at Karn, and maybe the
He got
orcs
an-
go to the player.
Yeah, he got an attack for 8, right?
Yes,
So
that
it's
like
one short.
any top deck Bowmaster obviously changes things.
Oh, Thoughtseize.
Oh, oh,
Oh no. And now we can't even top deck anything. There's nothing like Mario can draw at this point, right? That still wins him the game.
don't think so. Yeah, Ancient Tomb is shut off, and I don't think there is really anything.
Okay, we are taking out the Karn. Yeah, I mean,
That-
you would need to naturally draw like an extra Ensnaring Bridge that you happen to have in your deck. Otherwise,
Yeah,
this is.
that Thoughtseize was quite the top deck.
I mean, maybe he has like a removal spell that can take out the dragon, but I don't think so. Oh, you know what you do? You spin the helm. Yeah, see, you spin the helm.
Ah,
Maybe you find something. Maybe, I mean, there's probably nothing. Maybe you find like a Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix would actually be insane. Oh, you get a shadow. Dude, that's a quite sizable shadow. It's just. Oh, the dragon's not going to kill in the air, though, right? Oh, but it's just enough. Because one of the, like on the ground,
uh-huh.
you got 1 damage and you got 6 in the air, and that's exactly 7.
Oh no.
Oh.
Well, that's a cool helm activation. You don't see that very often where people
Yeah, I appreciate
like
the
you
effort.
use helm as it's supposed to be, right? Because
By the way, interesting story about Helm. I have some interesting stories.
oh god.
I told you earlier about how when Wizards was catching up with the old sets to Magic Online, because it only started at Invasion and onwards. All the stuff that was printed before that, they had to manually release like over the years. And they, for all sets, they did not always include all the cards. They only included all the tournament relevant cards. So when it was time to release the set that Helm is in, I actually don't remember which set Helm is in.
Oh, it's alliances.
Alliances?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when they released Alliances, they left out a lot of cards, but
Mm.
they printed Helm. And people at the time were like, why is Wizards releasing Helm on Magic Online? It's not doing anything in Legacy. Or Vintage for that matter.
Right.
So people at the time were like, maybe Wizards knows something that we don't. Maybe Wizards knows that Helm can actually do something in these Eternal formats that we haven't found out yet. And only then did people find out that Helm is actually a combo with Leyline of the Void. And that's so cool, dude. I don't know, maybe somebody actually knew and like Wizards now sent them a message, hey, dude, I do this in my local meta game. But the general Legacy audience at the time didn't know what Wizards knew. So they released the Helm. And these days it's the other way around. Like there's Legacy playable cards and we don't get them on
Yeah.
Magic Online. Talk about the good old days. There's some hip hop music coming up now. Yo, dude. Actually, I have no idea. Where's this coming from, Kai? Is this like our background music? Anyway, players still sideboarding.
Oh yeah, and here we see like the snuff outs like straight to the sideboard.
In a way, I'm actually kind of happy that we are sitting here and we don't have to make like the toughest decisions to me are sideboard decisions in Magic. I think like gameplay wise, I've seen so many things and I've been in so many spots that I don't want to say it's easy because like if I say it's easy and I still lose, like there's a good chance I don't actually understand what I'm talking about. But sideboarding, like adjusting the strategy when it's like tricky, that's one of the hardest things to like even like just learn for yourself, let alone teach. So I'm curious how this is gonna work out. Well, like Under seems like pretty undecided on what he actually wants to do.
Yeah.
One day is coming out, but what is coming in? Are we gonna submit the old 59? Oh, maybe actually it looks like
Yeah,
let's double check
it's
the
tough,
sideboard.
man. Like usually in Shadow decks we see Torok, Dread Cantor in the sideboard. I mean that card really doesn't do much. So like Graveyard Hate, like Surgical Extraction, like those cards don't do anything either. I- Any remote playable card might just come in for those useless snuff outs. I think there might not be a lot of sideboarding on maybe on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mario, what do we have here? We got the potentially turn one Grief, bunch of like we got a Wasteland there, we got Castle Lochwein, but really not much else. Too much mana, too little fat. Or business. Oh, both players going down to 6. Okay. Honestly, whenever players go like rather low, like 6 is not too low. It gets a lot more swingy. I can't even say that one of them is favored. The thing is, like, the lower you go, the more likely Mario is gonna have like a big haymaker, and then it's all about whether Under has the force of will or not.
Yeah.
And if Under has the force of will, like both players are basically empty-handed. Maybe Under has
Right.
a creature and then like pulls ahead.
Yeah.
But also like it could be Mario then that's just like top decking the next swingy thing. So the more cards people have, I think the more like calibrated things get. But at least here we got a ley line, which of course would enable us to instantly kill with the helm. There's also a Doughty Voidwalker. It might even be 2 ley lines, I'm not sure. On the other side, we got a Thoughtseize.
This is not a bad hand for Mario. The Leyland makes sure that there's no Murktide region, and again, like he lost to Murktide region the previous game. There are mana sources, and any top deck helm is lethal. And I like this a lot. I like this a lot. Turn 1 Doughty Voidwalker against.
No graveyard for you, sir. Dude, I've lost to that card so often. Like when you think about it, this is a turn 1 Delver. Unblockable.
Yeah. Unblockable, yeah.
And it doesn't look like Under has actually any answer to it right now. Under kind of wants to Thoughtseize.
Yeah. Like Mario's saying, like your cards are absolutely not going to the graveyard.
Like the absolutely removed from the game zone.
Yeah. Oh, dude, look at this. Thoughtseize into nothing.
Yeah. As we go down to 17 on the first turn here.
Hmm.
Gonna be hit by our Black Diver down to 14.
That's unfortunate. Like Thoughtseize is really potent, especially if your opponent mulligan down to 6 cards.
Like, imagine it from the other way. If Under was on the play, the Thoughtseize would have taken out the Voidwalker, and Mario is sitting on a bunch of mana and nothing.
Yep.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for round 7 of Impact Returns here penultimate round, both players playing for the top 8. A win puts them into the top 8. Actually, this should be the 8th round. Now they see they're 6-1. Yeah. So that's round 7. This is actually the 8th round from what I've gathered. Winning in for the top 8. Europe's second biggest legacy event of the year. And we're excited to be here, Kai.
Dude, I'm so pumped. Even though I can't play the event myself, it is probably as much fun to to comment the games along with you. That's
And
yeah,
finding
like
out about the
Legacy has
population
really
of different countries.
yeah, like Legacy has really changed a bit, and this is like the exciting phase after like a set release where we really don't know where we are going with Lord of the Rings. Maybe this Bowmaster ring nonsense gonna vanish after like a few weeks, or maybe it's here to stay.
By the way, since you're an art I guess art person. Since you're an artist,
You can
what's
call
your
me
favorite
that.
art for him to Torch?
Oh, it's I have a clear winner now. It's the one with the 4 people holding hands. Yeah, that's my
What?
okay.
That's the worst.
Really?
That's
Because
clearly the worst.
because it's so symmetrical.
Oh, that's what you like about it?
Yeah. Like
Oh.
the one with the wolf is, man, that's I like the painting with the wolf is cool and all, but it kind of looks from like a child's book maybe.
From Child's Book. Okay, that's my favorite one. I don't know.
I knew you were gonna say
what's his
that.
name? Like Madison Tucker or something? And Anson Tucker and Quentin Hoover is another.
Quentin Hoover is another one. And Drew Tucker.
Drew Tucker. That's
Drew Tucker had the other one with the it's actually kind of a creepy painting where you have like this guy on a table, like you have 2 people on the table, and it looks like from like a fairy tale or something, and you don't know what's going on, but it doesn't look like a friendly conversation. That I also don't mind. It's very simple, and some simplicity is key sometimes. I don't mind that either, but
I mean, I gotta admit, like the wolf one is a little bit cheesy.
it's something I would
something
I
like
could I could see like on a 12-year-old kid backpack or something, you know.
Maybe you're actually watching me mature right now. Yeah, well, chat. Let us know what is your favorite.
Also, probably like I probably like I probably gained like 100 haters in the chat right now for saying this.
No,
Because I know a lot of people who think that the wolf
really
version is
actually we don't see the wolf all that often. I think.
yeah, that's because most people have them already.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, so Ender has finally found a creature, and it's actually a pretty big shadow. Well, it's soon to be a pretty big shadow. It's like a 3/3 right now. There's another dark ritual. Ooh, oh, dude,
Yeah,
that's so good.
let's take him.
What's that one? Is that a that's a dress down, right?
That's a dress and a toxic
Deluge.
Is this
like,
a toxic deluge?
It's raining life total on both sides of the board. Like, it's been so long.
Toxic deluge is insane in the stack because you pay the.
You must think it, right?
Yeah, I mean you pay the life as a cost, don't you?
You pay the life as a cost, so your shadow
Grows,
and then it shrinks again, but it's still gonna be big enough, right? And all on the other side of the board, everything dies.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, this is really interesting.
Let's say you're crazy and you pay 9 life here, then your shadow is gonna be a 12/12, and then it gets like -9, but that doesn't really matter for at least you. Yeah. And then I guess you could follow it up with like dress down, like if you can, but you don't need to do that.
Oh wow, like Mario has to be kind of careful with his attacks here.
Yeah.
Because every attack grows the.
Wait, he actually didn't attack with the Voidwalker? I think you do attack with the Voidwalker.
Yeah, I would have done that too, I think.
Because the thing about the shadow, like you've got this effect that deals you 13 damage in one swing, but that doesn't kill you. And if you attack with the Voidwalker, you take Under down to 7. And I mean, you don't win on the crack, like that's true, but you're probably also not going to be. Okay, it's actually trickier than I thought.
Yeah,
it's actually trickier than I thought. The problem though is, are you gonna block here? And I mean, you're not really gonna. Block
I don't think that you can block now. It's a little too early.
Oh, and Anna doesn't want to attack either.
Yeah, this is. Welcome to Legacy, where you do
You don't attack.
Where
that makes those control decks, right? That's how I understood it. You have like big creatures and you don't attack. Equals control deck.
Oh, nice. Another one. What a follow up. What a follow up. Okay.
By the way, actually, now couldn't Mario actually play the? Oh no. Okay, yeah, we got the interaction. We got Leyline and Voidwalker, and that means the cards are going to exile for Leyline, not for Voidwalker if Anderson chooses. So
Right.
yeah, we're not gonna cast any spells with the Void Walkers.
Okay, let's be real here. So all three creatures on Mario side cannot be blocked by Death Shadow. Two of them have Shadow and the one has Menace. However, the Void Walker cannot block Death Shadow either. So if Mario pushes in too much damage, it is possible.
I think you attack for 3. This is like the classic Magic teachings. Like this is you do the small attack, and then you follow it up with a big attack, and you kill your opponent. That's basically like also like the for Treat the Angels. It's that kind of math.
Yeah, or you do this.
And then
yeah,
use a shadow.
you just remove Shadow mid combat.
Oh, the next level.
Damn, this is wild.
Oh, you look at Mario. Mario's like, you died. Why did you die?
Damn.
Void Walker's like looking up from the grave. I tried my best.
Just Sound is Just Sound
Hey.
is a real card, yeah.
Force? I was gonna say like Anna would have loved to have like Circle of Protection Shadow here, but I mean, we don't even need that. We got Dress Down. This is so cool, seriously. And I was like, how do we sequence this? Like, how big is the shadow? It's still a 3/3, so he can't really attack unless is he thinking about like Force of Willing his own spell to make it a 4/4 so he can actually block, and it's really awkward for Mario
that
to
is
attack. So
that is so deep,
for
yeah.
Mario to block. Like you don't do that, right? We don't force our own spells here just so we can get like this random attack. I mean, Mario is still on 20, right? So as cute as that play sounds, it's like not working out in the long run. Oh, Court of Cunning.
Damn.
Holy shit. Sure.
Damn, this is highly dangerous. You play this and become the monarch. And in your upkeep, you mill your opponent, I believe, for like 2 cards or something like that. And if you're the monarch, you mill them for 10.
Yeah.
Now, Mario can very well just take the monarchy back. His unblockable threats.
Yeah. So Mario becomes the monarch.
Yeah, so I can't tell like heads or tails of this Code of Cunning. Don't know if that was.
That's main. Oh no, that's
like this card might bite under maybe like an a turn or 2.
So, and now it's down to 7. 7 is so awkward. Like 6 would be so much easier for Mario. So now he mills Mario for 2. Okay. Then we go for the Ponder. I mean, yeah, milling yourself, I guess, wouldn't really do anything anyways, since there's like the ley line. We got a Thoughtseize we don't really want to play. Yeah, sending it back. So what are we looking to draw here, Kai?
Yeah, anything that improves on their sport, anything. like literally anything. Like a second creature would be nice to finally block the Grief, for example, because that has Menace. Any removal spell is good. And he need it fast. Like now.
Something like a big shadow or like a removal spell, right?
Yeah,
So
that's not bad, yeah.
These wastelands never felt lonelier. Oh, that's the him.
But there's also Brazen Borrower among those 3, I believe. Man, this is a close call.
Isn't there also like a Fatal Push?
Oh, it might be, yeah.
Like if that Brazen Borrower is the middle card,
like
right?
the only blue source and has in his hand is a Watery Grave. Now,
oh, decisions! It's so fucking deep. I'm loving it. This is so deep.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your force to protect yourself, but the problem is on the board. Is this a situation where you play the Watery Grave untapped, you go to 5, your shadow becomes big, you attack, Mario probably doesn't block, then you go to 5, then you kill the creature, but then you still here's the idea. You do that, all of that, then you take the hit of the Void Walker, then you bounce the Void Walker on the next turn of the Brazen Borrower, and when it comes back down again, you force it. So you're at 5, you're at 2, you're on 1 life. If you do that, you're on 1 life and your opponent has no creatures. But of course, Mario is drawing cards as well. And if you put yourself at 1 life, you're dying to Bowmaster, of course. That's a really tough decision to make. You do play the Watery Grave untapped. Okay. I like it. I think that's what's actually happening here now. We can, if it actually is a Fatal Push. No, I'm not so sure. I mean, okay, it's actually not a Fatal Push, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Brazen Borrower is kind of the same. The only problem is, since you drew Brazen Borrower, we would need to counter. Yeah, see, he wants back the monarchy. Yeah, just take it. Take it.
Hmm.
You don't become the monarch by asking for it nicely. You have
Huh.
to take power. Are we,
Did
are we asking the judge to crown him?
well,
Or they have, like a mistrigger, you're saying?
I don't know if Anna drew the extra card of the monarchy at end of turn,
Oh, okay. I guess
right?
we'll have an expert in monarchies figure this out. There's like lots of magazines dedicated to documenting the fake life of monarchists. Okay, let's say the monarchy gets back to him. Mario is gonna attack here. We can bounce one of the creatures. And the problem I see is if the creature comes back down again, we cannot force it because you don't have a pitch card. That's why I kind of wanted to draw the fatal push, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
right
you can
on.
turn on Revolt by wastelanding your own wasteland. You don't even need to. I guess you could also just like go after the Voidwalker. But there might be something I'm missing. You know, Anna calls over the judge and it's just like, hey, who's the king now? Choose. One of us shall rule this table for at least a turn.
Yeah, on the other side, like what are the things Mario can draw
Yeah, and 2 mana, not too
to
much, really, right? I guess another Voidwalker would help.
mm-hmm. I can't really see like what's going on in Saint Bar. Oh, I do see a Karn, a Swamp, and I believe another black Leyline, maybe.
None of those cards help you, right?
Yeah.
We need to draw something from top in that case. Which of those two swamps do you like better? Trick question, right?
I grew up with the one with from Onslaught.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, that reminds me of early mono black zombie decks I built when I was like a 10-year-old. So it was not my favorite swamp back then. I had like there were other swamps that I think were cooler. Even though now that I see it, like the heavy contrast is really appealing. Um yeah, but it really takes me back to like childhood
You know what we were
gameplay.
talking about earlier this month on Twitter?
Mm.
Why has Wizards not reprinted the shock lands in old frame,
Oh.
including that text? You know that text box with like the different colors, like the different colored rectangles of
Oh
the
yeah.
original ones. If you do that for the shock lands in old frame, a lot of people would
Oh,
pick
that's
them
really
up.
nice. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Wizards would be concerned that people would be confusing them because it's such a unique layout, but I don't know.
Oh, I would like snap by them.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah.
would even consider picking them up, even though I don't really need them right
I
now.
would yeah. I would even consider playing 4 in my main deck maybe and cutting all the underground seas.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we have like some sort of like a judge
Mm.
question here, and it's probably about the monarch trigger on attack and at end step.
So right now we are basically, I think Anda has passed the turn, Mario has untapped, so we are kind of like in Mario's upkeep. Maybe he already drew a card for the turn. I can't really tell. And the question at this point is like, has there been a mistrigger, or do we like actually rewind? I told you about my craziest rewind I had, right?
Oh,
I
is
once
then
had a rewind for 3 turns.
are you kidding
We were
me?
like in turn 4. We discovered the wrong player had started the game. My opponent had started the game, even though I said I will start the game. And I fully figured, like, okay, there's nothing we can do, but let's at least call the judge and work this
Right.
out. And they came back and they literally drew, like, they rewound 3 turns all the way to the first turn, all the way, like, back into the opening hands. And
Including fetch lands and
yeah, they were like, okay, now Julian, you start. I'm like, nope.
god damn, that is wild.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
it looks like Mario is actually staying the Monarch. He's gonna keep that green monarchy thingy. Okay, we bounce the grief. That's what I was actually thinking. It's more likely that we bounce the grief in this scenario because grief has less of a chance of coming back down again. But didn't you mention that there's actually Dark Ritual in hand or something?
I
You said Karn, you said
yeah, look,
Leyline.
and the swamp. It was a third swamp.
Oh, that and that one was already played. Okay. We go down to 2.
Damn, this Death Shadow is almost lethal, isn't it?
Yeah, now this works really well for us. We got the Void Walker covered. We can counter the next spell. We can even flash in the Brazen Borrow for extra damage. So think Under. Yeah, it looks like Under actually found a way. It looks like Under figured out. Oh yeah. Now this time I become the Monarch. What's going on there? Yeah, drawing the extra card. And I think there's nothing Mario can do. Mario basically needs like 2 spells. You know what Mario could have? Sudden Edict.
Oh, good call.
But
good call.
then he still dies though to the Brazen Borrow now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's rough.
Man, it's rough. Like Mario has come like so far. And like the last couple of top decks were
He's got 4 mana, but
yeah.
4 mana, like Karn, good card, but Karn is not gonna dig you out of trouble like right away, right? Karn needs like a turn. And Mario knows what's up. Like Mario is desperately trying to figure out how do I arrange these cards to still make it work. But it looks like Under and Shadow is gonna move on to the top 8. What do you see? We got a Hardcast Grief. No, oh, okay, interesting. So we got an alternate cast Grief. So
here again, the question is like, yeah, like what do you do about this, right? Like you would probably want to use the removal spell right now before it gets taken. And then I think the rest doesn't matter.
Just let it happen, right?
Yeah, I don't think you fight about this.
I mean, Under Mario should then probably take the Force of Negation, and then you can resolve your own.
Yeah, because
but that doesn't help you.
Because like if you force this, and what if Mario has Orcish Bowmaster, for example?
Oh,
right?
dude, yeah, that would
be
the most tragic way to end the game.
insane. Yeah, you can't. Like all you can do is just sit back and hope. Yeah, and that's the handshake. That's a handshake. There was no Bowmaster and no follow up really. Like Mario had a decent start, especially when the second Void Walker came down. I was pretty confident that this match might be over like in a few turns, but
Under Azpeitia on Shadow, moving on to the top 8. These days, I feel like I just realized, is Shadow the new Diver deck, considering like how almost every top 8 is gonna have like a copy of like Shadow or 2 in it?
Yeah, it's a really
insanely good.
It's a really good deck. It's a really good deck. It's not for everyone, because you gotta be good at combat. You know, you gotta be really good at like plus and minus at the same time. Like damage you take adds up to damage you deal.
This is like primary school. You gotta be good at plus and minus.
I'm
like,
telling
next
you,
time we're gonna learn about multiplication, but that's for Storm rather.
Did I ever tell you that I played Death Shadow at a GP once?
Like in Legacy?
It was Modern.
Oh, okay, I can see that. In Modern,
it was Grand Prix Kobe. By the way, I had the most amazing beef there. It was in Modern. I played Blue Black Death Shadow. And I had a glorious record of 1-3 drop. And my and then and then I realized after like I just didn't attack the whole day.
At all?
I just didn't. No.
You just sat back.
Because I was
control this.
That was like 2000 and I don't know. Was it like 16, 17? And the one of the most played decks in Modern back in the day was Eldrazi-tron. So Thought Nazi and Reality Smasher. That was the big one. And I was just too coward, and I literally pissed my pants. And because of the Reality Smasher, I thought like if I ever attack with the Death Shadow, I might just die to like a crackback top deck Reality Smasher. And then I always died to some. What is it, like some walking ballista? It really didn't matter, but yeah, I was a terrible Death Shadow player, and I made a lot of mistakes, so you don't have to.
That's very kind of you.
You're welcome.
Cool.
But yeah, telling you, like Death Shadow is it's a lot of fun, but games like the second game kind of showcases like how swingy combat can be with a deck like this.